All right, so this is a property customer called me about. Wants to see if I can mow her yard. I'm assuming she's probably gonna want some, some pruning, some yard maintenance, probably a leaf removal. From the looks of it, probably an aeration power rake at least once a year. Not quite sure if this property is also her property or not. One way you can look that up is county assessor's office and see where it shows her property being or the customer's property being. That way you can know ahead of time before you bid somebody, because I could bid just this yard over here obviously, and I would be a little bit less, but because there are some areas, so it looks like it's pretty accessible for my stand on in most areas, but there are going to be some areas with this yard I would definitely have to push mow. And like I said, I mean, that's a big slice if that's all her property also. There's a fairly nice house, so wouldn't be surprised if that was her property there. Like I said, there's some areas like right here, you're gonna have to push mow that, weed trim it. She's got several planters around here, stuff to get around, blocks. And this is, like I said, quite a bit of trim work. I mean, with that weed eater, you're gonna have to get out here and maintain it with a weed eater. There are a lot of spots that my stand on or my riders won't be able to get to that will have to be actually push mowed. So those are things you definitely want to consider whenever bidding a job like this. The hills, maintaining along this fence line, this tree line right here. She's got quite a bit of, you're gonna have to walk this property every time you come out here. So like I said, just make sure you consider all that before you go bidding a job like this. Your average person might come out and be like, oh, I want the job and I really want it. So you might bid something like this that, sorry about the noise. You might bid something like this here at, 35 bucks and be like, I really want the job. I really want to get it. And it's really not about just getting the job. There's plenty of customers out there. Like I said, right in this area right here, that's probably gonna have to be all push mow right there because my mower's not gonna fit through that area. The mower's not gonna come up on this area right here. So this is all gonna have to be, push mower. There's a lot of trim and weed trimming, weed eater trimming, around the trees along that retaining wall there, along this fence. And like I said, those are all things you have to do. Something you want to consider or take into consideration. This property over here, it's a pretty nice yard though. I mean, it's definitely well maintained. You can see she definitely wants it to be, everything to be trimmed around and driveways, sidewalks all lined up. So then you come down and around this way here. You got a little bit of something you're gonna have to maintain there. Need to figure out, is she gonna want you to maintain these vines and what grows on them? Well, again, along the fence line over here, you have, you have to get out here and weed trim all this here. This is actually outside of the fence, and it's about 4 feet up off the ground. So, I'm pretty sure she's gonna want that maintained. Maybe some mulch pit back on this side to keep from weeds from growing and whatnot. Anyway, thought I'd do a quick video, show you guys the property that I'm looking at, looking to maintain. You see she likes to keep those nice and trimmed up there, those hedges. So she's probably going to want that done also. These are some good sized trees right here. Good sized bushes, not really trees, but those are probably going to have to be, you know, they have to be maintained. I mean, plain and simple. Everybody would like to come out and just be like, hey, you know what, I'm just going to mow this yard. That's all I'm going to do. But guarantee when I talk to this customer, she's going to be like, no, I need it all maintained. You know? Let me know in the comments. What do you guys think? What would you charge? What would you charge a customer to do a yard this size? You know, considering, let's say this is all hers. Because that grass, the way it's maintained in this lot, I'm assuming she's either maintaining this lot or it's her lot, one or the other. But she's probably going to want that in the bid, I'm assuming. I'm going to, you know, ask a couple questions definitely myself, but, you know, what do you guys think? What do you charge a customer on a lot this big? All that trimming, all the weed eating you're going to have to do around this property. What would you guys charge for something like this? Like I said, this is Anthony with Hands Down Lawn and Landscape. Just wanted to show you guys a quick property real fast, get your opinion on it. As always, subscribe, hit that like button if you could. I'd really appreciate it. Take a look. I'll give you one more pan of it here. Majority of it's back here is why I'm showing you majority of it back here. You know, that little front yard is not a whole lot, so. Hey, what's going on, YouTube? This is Anthony with Hands Down Lawn and Landscape. Just took a look at that property. Looking to get you guys' opinion on it. What would you charge? What would you charge a customer if it were you bidding that job? Considering, you know, the size of the yard, if that property in the backside is actually hers, or even if she just wants it maintained, with the amount of trimming that needs to be done with a weed eater, you know, what do you think? What would you guys charge? I mean, that's a lot of walking, that's a lot of push more, that's a lot of, you know, trying to work around this, work around that. And then on top of that, you know, what would you charge if she's like, hey, you know what, I want everything maintained on a weekly basis. I want you to make sure the hedges are where they need to be, trimmed up where they need to be. The other bushes that, you know, you've seen in the video. What would you charge to make sure all those are maintained if you were going to bid it as a weekly situation? Like I said, me personally, I'm trying my best to get away from any bi-weekly, any once-a-month situation. If it's not a week, I'm just like, I'm really not interested, to be honest. Unless it's a customer that I have right now that I was previously doing it with them, you know, that's one thing. But you know, like I said, if you're doing it on a weekly basis, if you had to maintain just the lawn, and or if you had to maintain all the shrubbery, the bushes, everything, what would you guys charge? You know, just looking for an honest opinion. Anyway, like I said, I just want to, you know, show you guys that property. Those are some of the ones, one of the ones I've looked at here recently, so I thought I would show that to you. Like I said, Hands Down Lawn and Landscape. If you could, please hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button if you like the video. Other than that, have a good day.